What's up, my Support Fibromyalgia friends? I am Melissa. I am the executive director of the Support Fibromyalgia Network, and I'm also a board certified functional medicine health coach. It's Saturday. Happy Mother's Day weekend to all of our fibro moms out there. I wanted to jump on early. We have a storytelling training for Advocacy Week coming up shortly at 10. So I wanted to beat that out to while my brain was functioning and kind of just jump on and share with you and talk a little bit about storytelling in order to make an impact. It's having some technical difficulties sharing the screen, so I can only share one tab coming up, but I wanted to address something that I wish I kind of brought up yesterday. We had a great Zoom call with our delegates who will be joining us for Advocacy Week. It was amazing. Thank you to everyone that's attended so far with our Zoom calls, and thank you to everyone that is going to be taking time out of their day on May 11th to attend meetings. We have meetings with senators and our House representatives. It's fantastic, and I am so grateful to everyone that's contributing and joining us. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of information at first. So I admire everyone, and you are going to be a huge part of fibromyalgia history and making the changes we need. But one thing that came up in the Zoom conversation, and I wish I had done a better job of addressing it yesterday, is I'm so bad sometimes. I'm not one of those brainstormers where you like come together and you give all your ideas. Like I have to go away and then I start reflecting, and that's when I get my best ideas. So it's difficult in the moment sometimes to respond. And there was a great conversation and a great moment that was kind of coming up when it came to sharing our stories as fibromyalgia warriors and where to go with it. And I really wish that I had the good response because I want to just acknowledge and take a moment that, you know, fibromyalgia, we're in the trenches, right? It can really suck at times, and it has tortured many of us. So acknowledging that torture is like good. And now what can we do to turn some of this pain into purpose and make an impact on changing the community for the better? And this is something that I wish I brought up because a lot of us were struggling. There's a lot of pain points here. And when we talk about our story, there's a lot that may come up and driven, and I know I get that too. And it's hard to focus on what we should say. And then we're asking you to make an impact with the story and be concise. So it can be very overwhelming. So just acknowledging that it definitely has a lot of torture on us and how to turn it into this powerful storytelling moment, which I've watched a lot of storytellers. I mean, you watch the TED Talks, you see people, and I'm always in awe. I was like, how do they deliver such a great message or deliver such energy for people that are on stage? And I think there's that component of also doubt. And then we want to make a difference. So some of us have that fire in the belly. We want justice for what's happened to us and the adversity that we faced, and we want to make sure other people don't go through that adversity. So that fire in the belly is definitely real, and we want to make a difference and then correlate that. But we have to also jump over the fact of maybe even our self-doubt. And I'll go through some of the steps that I've been trying to overcome with even starting this organization and changing the landscape of how to do this, because I started out, I do the same thing, right? I see myself as this very mousy character with a squeaky voice, trying to use a microphone to make me sound better when it comes to stuff. But I say a lot of ums. When I have brain fog, it's even worse. So all these iterations, and I'm like, how am I supposed to deliver a message that's going to make an impact? And we're asking for NIH to fund fibromyalgia research. So I want to acknowledge that it can sound surreal or overwhelming, but I do want to say that all of you have an important story to share. There's no right or wrong way to share the story, and it's going to make a difference. So as we rally into this coming week, I'm really asking, and please help us out by sharing that story in the way that you feel appropriate to share that story. And it can be through images. I know there's a lot of creativity in the fibromyalgia community. If artwork is the way that you like to go, or if you like to write, like share that on social media to express your fibromyalgia journey. And then for a part of the advocacy day, we are looking for messages to talk to your representatives. So you can tag your representatives and share some of this impact that fibromyalgia has on you, because it does, it really affects us. And I don't want it to be, this is not about toxic positive bad days. And a lot of us have gone and overcome a lot, and that's what we are trying to translate for. And it's difficult to balance. And I noticed some of the energy, and you build up this emotion when we're asking you to share your story, and it's difficult. I even get lost. I have to write it down. Otherwise, I won't have a very good direction for explaining the story, and I've had to write it down over and over again with who I am and how I'm going to talk about fibromyalgia and the changes we want to come to, because it's different. And I just want to just let people know too. It's like sometimes I even feel like I'm most of the angriest like advocate, or I have the biggest chip on my shoulder because of that fire in the belly to achieve justice. And for me, it's huge because as a teenager, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I had severe chronic pain, but I was dismissed by the medical community so much. And then when going to school, I went to a private school, so they didn't have an elevator, and they wanted to keep me back because I wasn't able to get to my classes because I couldn't get up the stairs. And it was all this stuff happening. I was over medicated. This was the 90s. So you know how they for me that anger built up, but I could barely dress myself to go to school, much less advocate for myself and be a voice for disability rights. And I know there was a lot of wrong that I faced, so it made me angry inside. It drove a lot of my passion to find justice from the teenage Mel, right, the younger version of me that would sit in the bathroom and cry at school and was always told that I couldn't do something. Or even in college, facing hearings with the dean. They wanted to throw me out of school because I was never good enough to finish because this body didn't work. The brain kind of did, but the body definitely didn't. And so that's the driving force. So if any of you out there really get that and resonates with you, we can still share our story and we can be really passionate about it. And I've been working hard to change that pain into that purpose and trying to figure out how to tell that story so we can motivate other people and be like, you need to fund fibromyalgia, you need to make an investment, we need to move these mountains forward through our storytelling. And that's what makes a difference, because I'm out for justice for that teenage Mel. I want to make sure that I fight for her, give her a voice that she never had, and other girls just like her. I mean, youth with fibromyalgia is huge for me. So I want to make sure that anyone living in that space right now does not have to go to the same adversity, and that never happens again. And I realized that through a lot of the advocacy when we started is I had some families invite me to speak at schools on behalf of their daughters. And I realized I couldn't come in as mama bear, right? They had the mama, but I had to come in as an advocate. And what did that look like? What advocate did I want when I was that girl needing someone to speak up for me and talk about fibromyalgia at my school? What did that person look like, and how could I fill those shoes? So this is where I've kind of like developed it. And I'm going to tell you, it takes practice. I have social anxiety over social anxiety when it comes to public speaking. I am not the type of person that was going to just be like, hi, everyone, and approach you and shake hands. I'm usually standing in the corner. I'm a wallflower. But this means so much to me. And so if this resonates with you and other people, it means a lot to you, but you don't know how to go about it. You're not sure if you can do it. I'm going to tell you, you can, and it just might be in a different delivery. So again, we have a lot of creative people who share the fibromyalgia journey through artwork, which is amazing. Go with it. If you like to vlog and be on camera, go with it. If you like to blog, you want to share it in writing or poetry, doing poetry, do it. And we're going to encourage you as a network to keep doing it, because all these voices together, sharing and making a difference, because your story is going to resonate with someone. I guarantee it. I talk to bloggers all the time that are like, well, I'm not getting the reach. And I'm like, okay, so this is where it's like, are you in it for the accolades? Like, what are the expectations for this, or the fulfillment? Sharing your story, and it builds up. I know with these algorithms on social media, it's difficult, but it will build up. And that's why this is so important. And this week and this month especially is crucial. So for fibromyalgia awareness, it's not necessarily sharing about facts and figures. Share your story. Let it resonate with the people that are around you and the community. Share other people's stories if it resonates with you. Paint. Do artwork projects. Share the artwork that resonates with how fibromyalgia impacts your life. And let's like rally in May to really make this an awareness about the storytelling to make a difference. We are asking for advocacy rallies. We need these delegates. So, I mean, this is important. So, even if you move on and if you can take a few meetings with your senators or representatives moving forward, if you're friends with them, please, we need the help. And this is why I'm going to go into some of the NIH reporting really shortly, because this is what we're asking for. And it's just a reminder, because you see all these other diseases and they get funding and it's not a competition, but if we don't ask for it, we won't get it. And if we're not on anyone's radar, we are not going to get the attention that we deserve. So we will still walk into doctors' offices and they'll be like, I don't know what to do with you. Like, there's not enough research. And this is where we have to change it. I don't want it. I don't want anyone to go through that again and be dismissed or have these labels that don't make any sense when we're managing a real disease. But in order to do this, what we've learned is we've had to advocate for it, which is a challenge. We don't have a lot of energy and time, but the understanding is we have to be there. We have to be present. We have to be asking for the resources that we need. And they need to know, because nobody was, I mean, that we were trending downwards, honestly. And I'm going to show you the NIH reporting so you can understand a little bit about what these asks kind of go into. And it may sound simplified at first, but it really makes a difference. So on this page, which the NIH funding report, these is the categories for spending. And I'll definitely include that link in the description for everyone to kind of go through. So these are estimates of funding at the NIH with trending information. And so you can see kind of estimates on all these diseases and different categories. And if you can look up and go through all of these, it's a lot. There's a lot of advocacy right now that the NIH needs to invest more money in research spending. I think the estimated totals are $3.3 billion, and it gets divided out into these different diseases. And these different diseases do go and lobby at Capitol Hill to get the research investment that they need. They have researchers lined up to do this as well. They've opened up care centers, research centers. So this money, it does go to these diseases, and it's important. But we also need it to go to fibromyalgia. So that's what we are saying. And you can see how these categories divided, and you can dive in and click on the information to see what specific research is being done. So all you have to do is type in fibromyalgia, and it'll take you to fibromyalgia here. And what you do is you look at the spending. And I want to be honest, when we started, so in 2018, we were looking at it, and you can see these numbers in there with 14 and 13. So in 2019, it was estimated to go down to $12 million. So remember, this big budget of $3.3 billion of research funding for diseases, fibromyalgia was going to get only $12 million. And we have an estimated of 12 million patients potentially, which I don't think is accurate. I think we have a lot more people living with fibromyalgia, but that was the estimated totals. And then when you look into even more of the specific research, so you can kind of click in here and figure out where the money was going, and it'll go and you can look through the spending and you can reach out and figure out where it was going. Some of this is not specific for fibromyalgia, or some of this, you kind of wonder, is this really going to translate into what we need at the medical office? So it's all here, and we've been given the information, but we weren't advocating for what we needed. And when we talk about needing research, we talk about needing treatments, we talk about our doctors not understanding how we feel. And here is the missing connection. And to be honest, I never wanted to get into advocacy. This wasn't our goal at the Support Fibromyalgia Network. Was a lot more geared to education. So patient education, medical education, really wanted to get medical providers. But we hit a roadblock with educating medical providers because we don't have the research to back up some of the continuing medical education. It is a hurdle, and you're seeing it too, because many of you are getting turned away from rheumatologists. So rheumatologists are deferring to primary care physicians to treat fibromyalgia. They do cite lack of research, lack of treatment success, and it falls back here. So it all comes together. And this is why the raising your voice, talking to your representatives, we need a sustained investment in funding for fibromyalgia. because we need it to trend up. And that's the big thing that we've been noticing. And we've been happy about it when it comes to stuff. And we need more. I mean, it is kind of exciting to see that the numbers can now trend upwards. So, let's see it at 30 million. We are asking for 15 million, which we don't feel is a huge ask. So let's get us to 50 million. We are asking too that the money gets opened up at the NIH to open up for reclassification for fibromyalgia. We feel that if we can get a proper classification for fibromyalgia, it will open up more better treatments and standard of care, and then drug development, because we don't feel like right now people are very excited, but this does matter. And if we can get the funding opened up, we can also get the researchers in there. There are a lot of researchers that do want to work in fibromyalgia space, but they can't. It's hard to find the funding. It's difficult to get the funding. And I mean, shout out, I had my screen open to show everybody. So the fidget study, I would love to do more microbiome research, especially in the United States, but she is working so hard individually to add people to the fidget study, enroll patients, and then get things funded herself. She's asked the company for sponsors and to get the medical equipment she needs all by herself. I know Dr. Younger does research as well, and he needs funding. But if we could open up this grant funding for that reclassification, my hope is that these researchers could grab that grant funding that could push towards the classification, and we can help this move forward. And the people are out there, and we know that, things exist too, like Swing Therapeutics. We have a new survey coming up for them for a patient panel. They're investing in fibromyalgia. So we have other researchers. I've talked to researchers at university campuses that are doing surveys. They want to do more, and it's about finding that funding. So this is one aspect of it. Obviously, if we can do philanthropic funding, we know that it exists. I've been following people like Dr. Walls. She worked with the University of Iowa to do some of her research, and she raises money and gets fundraising for it. So that's one benefit too, and working with the university. So there's so many different ways to do it. And if you're passionate about that, definitely reach out, because we want to be able to support you. I think sometimes our community gets so disconnected and we feel isolated, but we are here as one community, and people rally around everything that's similar. That's the great power of the internet. I remember the book Seth Godin, We Are All Weird. Like, we can find our tribes on the internet, because we just got to find people, and we got to find like-minded people that believe in this cause and are ready to move forward. And it looks like from yesterday's meeting, we are all ready to move forward. So we want change for fibromyalgia. Going to be fighting for specific goals for fibromyalgia. It is a strategic play, and we may have to come back. We take the information we learn on Wednesday, May 11th, from our legislative aides. We always taking the information back. We may have to re-strategize, one step over here, we move the other direction. It's a game of chess. We are playing it, but we need to get that appropriations request in. And it's tough because they have deadlines, and we got to rally more senators. We're going to be getting our champions in there. So if anyone is friends with congressional leaders or state senators, we could really use the help right now, because we need to rally for the next fiscal year and get that budget in there, so everybody can benefit. And it is a huge deal. So I hope you're starting to see these connections and why we ask for sharing of stories and publicly sharing your story this month. Please definitely do it. Tag our organization, Support Fibromyalgia Network. Tag my personal profile, so I can share with more people. If you're on Instagram, tag Support Fibromyalgia. Tag us everywhere, Twitter, Team Fibro, so that way we can share your story and make the impact, right? We need to move these mountains. We have some big mountains we got to move, but we can do it. And definitely utilize our organization as this national level organization of your team, your supporter. I'm not much of a cheerleader because I was on the math team. I was on the math league in high school, but I'm trying to do my best. I'm learning from Barbie over there at iPain, cheerleader for hope. So how we can do it, but we can do this. So storytelling, keep up the storytelling. do the advocacy. We will be on a live stream Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific time with our delegates. We'll be sharing more from our delegates. We have more videos that we're going to keep premiering from last year with some amazing advocates that have taken on legislative advocacy and have had success. So hopefully that'll empower you. Thank you, everyone. I just wanted to make sure that you guys all knew your story does really matter, and you can make and turn that pain into purpose and then connect the dots with the NIH. There are researchers out there that care. They're diligently trying to get funding for their research, just like it. So there are ways to support, and we're trying to connect the dots on how to better support them getting funding, because they really do want to make a difference and they want to make an impact in our lives and translate it to medical offices, which is very cool. I love the work that Swing Therapeutics is doing to get that translated into our homes, making it accessible. So that's a huge deal. We got to back companies that really believe in fibromyalgia and want to do that type of work. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to jump off here and go into storytelling training with the delegates. Hi, Danielle. It was so good to see you yesterday. On Friday, I'm looking forward to working with you. She is registered delegate for May 11th, going to be talking to her senators and representatives. I am Melissa Toller. I'm the executive director of the Support Fibromyalgia Network, and I am a board certified functional medicine health coach. It is dark behind me. I am recovering from gallbladder surgery, but we're going to march on. So work to lead at Capitol Hill, make a difference. Stay tuned. Please, please share your story with everyone. Share the delegates' stories. Rally around the delegates and the states. You will learn more about the delegates soon. And I encourage all the delegates out there participating to post your badge or post your story. Let them know you're rallying and meeting with the representatives for your states, so that way other fibromyalgia community members can rally around you. Thank you so much. Have a great Saturday. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Bye.